welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, you are absolutely welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for clicking back in today's video. I'm going to be sharing with you guys how much it costs me to travel down from Nigeria to the United States of America. So I don't know if a lot of you know, but I am currently in the US doing my master's program, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys how much it costs me to, from my application process to the flight process to my visa process, you know, everything that you would need to know about the entire process. And in this video, I know most of you have seen that video, but I got some questions in that video that I wasn't able to tackle in the video, so I'm going to be addressing most of the questions here. So you want to stick around to the end of the video to get all that information. And also towards the end of this video, I'm going to be sharing with you support group things and tips that will be very, very beneficial to you through this process. I mean, as at this time last year, somewhere between November and December, I had just submitted my application, like awaiting admission feedback from the universities that I applied to. I can totally relate to what most of you might be feeling now, because it was a bit, you know, overwhelming for me at that point. All I wanted was like, give me feedback so I know how to plan and I know how to move ahead. So trust me, I know where you guys are coming from, and I can totally like feel your shoes. So in this video, I'm going to be explaining everything to you, because the minute that feedback gets to you, which I so believe it's a positive feedback you'll be getting, because congratulations, you've gotten that admission, right? Believe it and you have gotten it. Like, once you believe it, it's yours, right? Like that. So once you've gotten that admission, the next thing is your planning phase, like how to come down, how to move down, your flight, everything, every necessary thing that you need to do. So in this video, I'm going to be tackling all of that. And if that sounds like something you want to watch or you need information about, so please keep on watching and don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. So the first thing I'm going to be sharing with you on my list that you need to get is your international passport. So first off, before you even start applying to schools, you need to have an international passport, right? You can't begin applying without an international passport, because during your application process, or when you're applying to these schools, there is a part in your application form where you will be asked for your passport number, and the only place you can get that passport number is from your international passport. So your step and your application is not as good to you, to anybody, if you don't have your international passport. And there are different ranges for the international passport, right? You can have the one for 10 years, you can have the one for 5 years. Those are the two types of passport that I know. Or Nigerian passport, I mean, if you're a Nigerian citizen, you have like two options. For me, I would recommend you get the 10 years passport, the one with the 10 years and 64 pages, right? And that cost me, in my own time, as at 2023, when I applied for the passport, it cost me about 110,000 naira with 64 pages. So the reason why I'm asking you to get this is because it saves you the stress of trying to renew your passport. You have 10 years passport, 64 pages. You have 5 years passport with 32 pages. You also have 5 years passport with 64 pages as well. So the 5 years passport with 32 pages cost about 50,000 naira back in 2023. The 5 years with 64 pages cost about 75,000 naira way back in 2023. And the reason why I'm saying this is, please be aware that the prices I'm mentioning here, I best believe they are subject to change, because the current situation of naira and, you know, the devaluation of fund is literally like affecting everything back home in Nigeria. And this is not me being tone deaf. I just want to put this out there. I probably should have said this before I started the video, but I'm just going to put this out there. Like, I'm not being tone deaf to everything that is happening back home in my place, but I just want you to have it at the back of your mind that whatever price I'll be mentioning here, best believe that the prices have changed, right? This was just the estimate. Use this as a guide, as a reference to your application and throughout your planning phase, so you know how to budget, what to budget, and how to go about it. Okay, so the second thing I'm going to be speaking about today is the application fees that you have to pay for your school. So there are a lot of things that prompt application fees, right? It could be your program type, it could be the school that you're going to, it could be the the location of the school that you're going to, right? So many factors affect your application fee, right? And I would like you to know the application fees cost about $50 to about $150, right? So you have to like budget around that range. I can't exactly say if these prices have changed because I did my research, and so far so good. They are within this range as at the time I am making this video. There is something called an application fee waiver. So that qualifies you to be able to waive the application fee, where you don't have to pay any money to apply to a school, right? It's a very sweet offer, but it comes with like terms and conditions, and the only places you can be able to get this application fee waivers are if you're able to communicate with a graduate coordinator, if you're able to attend webinars that the school you're applying to hosts. Yeah, you will be able to get the fee waivers or the fee codes to waive this fee. So that's like another way for you to be able to save costs during your application process. If you do not have the money for the application fee, you can be able to apply for a waiver. But bear it in mind that application fee waivers have terms and conditions, in the sense that you probably have to be like a grade A student. Like by grade A student, I mean like you are entirely on a 3.0 CGPA or you're on a 4.0 CGPA, and like your academics achievement is just top notch for them to be able to give you that waiver, right? So bear that in mind. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is your transcript from your undergrad school. By your undergrad school, I mean where you had your bachelor's degree from, maybe the bachelor's of arts, bachelor's of science, any baccalaureate degree that you had back in your uni days. You need your transcript from that school for you to be able to apply to any school of your choice, right? To be able to get your transcript during your application process, you have to contact your school to get that transcript. And to get that transcript, it costs about 20 to 50,000 naira. I mean, I spent close to 60k in my own time. I think roughly between 50 to 60k. So bear that in mind. You would be spending close to from 20k to 60k thereabout. And that's because first off, during your application process, many schools, in fact most schools, allow you to submit your unofficial transcripts during the application process, just to evaluate you and your documents and how well you've been doing in school. And then when they now decide that they are going to give you this admission, right, that you are the best student for their program and they're going to take you in their program, they're going to ask you to send the official transcripts. And for you to send the official transcripts, you're going to have to send your school an official email to have them send the official transcript to the school that you are applying to. And some of these schools might ask you to send it by mail, PO box, or they might ask you to even send it by email. So different schools, different options, different ways to go about the application process. So I just need you to know how much it's going to cost you to get your transcript ready. In fact, that should be the first thing you're getting ready before you start applying, so it saves you the stress as compared to how I dealt with my own during my own period. Like I was already applying and then I was just going back and forth, and I was just spending way too much money. To apply to have your transcript handy with you, the unofficial transcript handy with you, and use that to apply for the schools that take unofficial transcripts. But for schools that requires official transcripts from you, you would have to send your school an email to have them send it down to the school year that you are applying to. I mean the school in the US that you are applying to. Also on transcript, I'm going to quickly talk about Wes Evaluation. So Wes Evaluation is a body helps evaluate your transcript to be able to make sure that the school that you went to is an accredited school that fits the educational standard of the United States of America. And the reason why most school requires for that is basically what I just said. They want to be sure that you went to a standardized school that fits the educational requirements that they would want to accept you into their program for, right? I hope that makes sense. So for Wes Evaluation, the benefits of doing a Wes Evaluation is it boosts your CGPA, and then it makes you stand out. It makes you look like a credible student. But then again, would I advise you to do the Wes Evaluation? A yes and a no. And that's because most schools don't take Wes Evaluation, but there are some schools that take Wes Evaluation, and you just have to look at the requirements of each school so that you're saving yourself costs and save that money that you would have used to do the Wes Evaluation for something else that you would be spending your money on in the future. I mean, during this whole phase, right? So the Wes evaluation cost about 400 to 500,000 naira. That was what I paid during my own time. I did the Wes evaluation, and that was because one of the schools I was applying to needed an evaluated transcript. I submitted the unofficial one, but they said no, they're not gonna take that, and they need me to submit my evaluated transcript. So yes, I did the Wes evaluation, and for them to have my transcript evaluated, good thing is it boosted my CGPA. That doesn't mean I was not on a very good CGPA when I graduated. I was on a very good CGPA before I graduated. So doing that just boosted. So the good thing about them as well is they have your credentials stored, right? So even if you want to apply to any other school, they already have that thing stored. All you just need to do is just pay for them to send the copy down to the school. You're not paying for any other evaluation. You're just paying for them to send it down to the school, probably like a $12 or a $15 cost that you would spend to have them send it down to the designated school that you want them to send it to. So would I advise you to do the Wes evaluation? Like I said, a yes, and it could be a no, and that's because it's based on the school that you're applying to, right? So if your school says please they need it, then please go ahead, be my guest and do it. But if they say they don't need it, then save your money for something else. Make sense? Right. Next thing on my list is you've gotten your admission, you know, they've called you or they sent you an email telling you congratulations dear A, B and B and C, congratulations, you have been offered an admission in so and so university in the program this and that. Yay, congrats. What's the next thing to do? The next thing to do is what? Get your I-20. What is an I-20? An I-20 is a document that shows that you've been admitted by a university here in the United States and further certifies you as a credible student to come down to the United States to study. So you'll need to get that I-20, and for you to get that I-20 you have to show proof of fund, right? POF, that's what it's called. Proof of fund differs, like it differs for everybody, every program, for every region, for any school you're going to, it differs, right? There is something called deficit. So deficit is like the little cost you would have to pay, probably your first month or 2 months of coming down to the US to school. So that deficit is something you have to provide a proof of fund for to cover, because truth be told, let's be honest with ourselves, you would get a full funded program, but when you come down here, the school is not paying you immediately you get down here. You need to cover your cost. You need to sort your first month's rent. You need to buy food stuff. You need to buy bed sheets, pillowcases. I mean, if you've seen my vlogs, you'll see where I'm like settling down. Those money, they didn't come in from my first pay. It was the money I came in with when I was coming down here. So you have to have something that would be able to cover your cost of education, like the mini expenses you'll be having when you're coming down here in the first few months. So that's where the deficit comes to play. That's what a deficit is. Or even during the summer break when school is not in session and you have to cover some bills, right? That's what your deficit is for. So for you to be able to do that, you need a specific proof of fund. You need a specific amount in your proof of fund, like in your bank statement. That's what it's called. So it's best advised that you get family members, maybe like your dad or your mom, who can stand in for you and provide you that proof of fund. Or better still, if you're married, probably like your wife can be the best person in the best position to provide you that, or your husband can be the best person in the best position to provide you that. It's much more advisable to use a family member, and by family member I mean like your dad, your mom, your wife, your husband, and maybe your brother and your sister. The reason why is because these people are much more credible than you using your uncle, your auntie, great-great-grandmother, great-great, it gives you better chances. It gives you a better view when you go for your interview. So when they give you this admission, they will ask you to provide that proof of fund. If you have funding, with or without funding, you would need a bank statement for you to be able to get your I-20. Some people may not need, but like I said, it depends on the program you'll be going for. But if your program says you have a deficit that you have to cover, then be rest assured that you'll be providing that proof of fund. Some school, your deficit can be maybe like $1,000, or it could be like $2,000, it could be like $3,000. Matter of fact, it could even be $500 or $200. Again, everybody's situation is different, right? So in this particular phase, you can't exactly say, oh, there's a fixed deficit or there's a fixed amount you need to provide for the proof of fund. Your program differs from my program. Just know that you would have to provide a proof of fund or bank statement that would be able to cover you for the first few months or for the deficits that you'll be having on your I-20. Next thing that we will be doing is your visa fee. You know, once you've gotten your admission, you've gotten your I-20, right? Yay! The next thing you're gonna do is to apply for called the visa, right, which is also known as the MRV. In recent times, it's been known to my knowledge that they no longer pay for the visa fee at the GT Bank. I know in this video I mentioned that you pay for the visa fee at GT Bank. Please, this is a new video and this is new information I'm bringing to you guys. For you to be able to pay for your visa fee, you have to go to First Bank in Nigeria. That's where the new payment takes place. So it's much advisable for you to walk into the bank and pay for this. And this cost about $185. When I paid in my time, that's equivalent to 259,000 naira. That was how much I paid back in my time. So if we're converting $185 to the current rate now, and please you do the conversion because I don't have the current rate right now, but if I do, I'm definitely going to leave it on the screen. So yes, you have to walk into the bank, pay it in cash. They give you a receipt. Always hold any receipt that you're given. That is to prove that you paid for that. And even during your interview, you're also going to need that receipt. So please have it handy if you. So the next tip on my list that you have to do is to pay for your SEVIS fee. What is the SEVIS fee? SEVIS fee is the Student and Exchange Visitors Program. So it's like a program that keeps track of students and exchange visitors here in the US, just to make sure that they are doing exactly what they said they wanted to do coming down here in the US. Basically, it's a program that ensures that you maintain your status as a student, and this fee is approximately $360. That's how much. And in my time, I paid about 544,000 naira, and as at that time, dollar to naira rate was about 1,513 naira. So once you've gotten your passport with your visa stamp on it, congratulations. So proud of you. You did it. Now it's time to fly. Yes, so now it's time to fly, and this is the part that is, like, I would say probably the most expensive, because it takes a whole lot to be able to like book your flight ticket and to, you know, pay the flight fee. So during my own process, when I flew, I paid about $1,616. That was how much I paid, and if you convert that to naira, that cost me about 2.5 million naira. Yeah, so I don't know how much flights are gonna cost now. And again, flight fee is dependent on the airline you're taking, the time you're flying, the time of the booking, and most importantly, like the layover time at the airport or during your flight. So these are factors that affect how much you pay for your flight. So you want to look out for airlines that are a bit affordable. You won't be spending so much. When I came into the US, I came in with United Airline and Lufthansa. So my initial booking was with United Airlines, but because they were not flying on a certain date, it kind of like merged me with Lufthansa, right? So these are airlines that you can put in your budget: Lufthansa, United Airlines, Qatar. I've heard so many reviews about Egypt Air, so I'm not entirely going to recommend that in this video. Or if you are a fan of Egypt Air, please, you know, try your options and see what works for you in terms of the price, you know, the layover time, your time of booking. Also, you want to check out where you'll be flying to, making sure that each stop is favorable to you, and most importantly, make sure you have enough time during your flight for immigration checks. Like during your layover time, look out for that. I was very particular about that during my booking. I wanted each stop to give me enough time to go through immigration check so that I don't have to be rushing. Oh, how do I get this? How do I do this? No, at least give yourself an hour or two at each layover. Let's say you're flying from Nigeria to Detroit, and then probably your first layover is going to be at Chicago, right? Just make sure that at Chicago you have an hour or two to run through immigration checks. Don't do 30 minutes, don't do 20 minutes. It's gonna bite you, because when you get to the airport and you see the numbers of people that are there going through immigration check, and then your next flight is in like 20 or 10 minutes, that's when you understand what we're saying. So please do 1 hour, in short, do 2 hours, so that at best when you get there you don't see people, you are sure okay that, oh, I don't have to worry myself about this. But if you do 30 minutes, don't say I didn't tell you. Use that time as well to, you know, see the airport, take good pictures. I mean, it's your time, you're there, so leave it. Okay. Another thing I'm gonna be saying that is not entirely on my list, but it's kind of like a bonus point for you guys, is pocket money. But I would like you to put pocket money in your list or your budget. You could also call that, like, I don't want to say it's a proof of fund, but you just need to have like a pocket money, something that you can be able to fix yourself on, sustain yourself on, right? So there is no specific amount I would say for this, to be honest. When I was coming in, I think I came in with about $500 if I'm not mistaken. Just bring enough based on your situation and based on the town or the city or the school you're going to. If it's a place that is not so expensive, bring according to your pocket, according to what you can afford, right? And maybe your rent is not so expensive, probably it's like $250 or $150. I don't think there's any place that's 150 here in the US, but if your rent falls within that range, you're very lucky, to be honest. But just bring something that will be enough for you, probably to pay like your first month's rent and buy groceries, because you are going to eat now, and then you have to sleep on a bed. What if your house does not come furnished? You have to get a bed, you have to get like a duvet, bed sheet, so have to get like SIM card. You guys remember what I went through when I was looking for a SIM card just to get a phone line? You need to come with money that will be able to help you pay your phone bill, because phone bill here is paid monthly. It's not once you buy it like in Nigeria, you are bought, you are just buying airtime. You are paying monthly, yes. So you have to consider that as well. Also, you would have school fees, like mini school fees you'll be paying, maybe like network fees, college fees, books and technology, you know, all this minor fee. It's going to be included in your I-20, right? That this is the deficit you'll be paying, and the only reason why you'll be paying for that is because you have a deficit. So put that into consideration. So guys, moving on, this is the part of the video I believe all of us have been waiting for, where I get to answer the questions that were left for me in my previous video, one where I explained how I traveled from Nigeria to the United States of America. Like I said, there were some couple of questions that I have not answered, and I'm right here in my comment section, and we're going to answer all of that like right about now. Okay, I feel like with this I can be able to answer questions that I was not able to answer in the first half of this video. With this, I'll be able to answer all of that. So the first person I have on my list asked me, please, how long did it take for you to secure a visa appointment? So I'm going to mention and say this based on my timeline and how long it took me. So I submitted my request after paying for my visa fee. I submitted my request to book an appointment on the CGI website on the 1st of May 2024. They approved my request to schedule an appointment on the 2nd of May 2024, and then I was able to book an appointment that 2nd of May to June 14, 2024. I was the one that chose that date, June 14, because that was the available date I saw on the website when they approved my request. Timeline is different. I'm gonna say this because here we can see that I applied on the 1st of May and then I got approved on the 2nd of May. I know it was very, I myself, I'm surprised, because when that thing happened, I didn't know how it happened. It was just a shocker, because I've heard people come on and say it took them a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months before they were even approved to get a visa date to go for their visa interview. But that was not the case for me. I got it in like hours. The situation is not the same as my situation. And another thing I'm going to say here is grace. God's grace played a huge role, because trust me, this is not what I would accustom to my power. I didn't do any of this. So all I'm gonna say in this is just pray, because I prayed. I left this entire process into God's hand, and that was how swift it was. Because again, when it's your time, like I always tell myself, you won't have to stress about anything. It's just going to come to you with ease, and that was what happened to me during my visa scheduling process. I feel that answers your question, right? Because with the interview, once you go for your interview, there and then you will know whether you're getting it or not. It's not even, oh, go back, we'll give you feedback. No, they will tell you right there in your presence. So somebody else asked me a question here, and the person was like, did you write the TOEFL or IELTS exam, and did you do the Wes Evaluation? I already answered this in the previous part of this video. In terms of answering, did you write the TOEFL or IELTS exam? So some schools as well with this test of English proficiency test, but that's dependent on the school you're applying to, right? So you have to also look out for the requirements of your school. If they say they are going to waive that because you come from an English speaking country where English is like the medium of instruction and communication, then they would waive it for you. But if they didn't, if they say it's not part of their requirement, then that means you have to take it. Well, I come from an English speaking country where we like English was our medium of instruction and communication, so I didn't have to take the like IELTS exam or TOEFL exams. But I was interviewed during my application process, and that was the reason why they waived it for me, because they could attest that okay, I'm fluent in English, I can speak English, I can lead a class, I can take a class. That was why it was waived for me. So yeah. Somebody else asked a question. I don't think this question is peculiar to this video. I was kind of like saving it for the next video that I would be filming. So I think I'm just gonna save this for the next video. So if you would like to know what this question is, so please watch the next video after this. That's where I'm going to be addressing this question, right? So guys, we've come to the end of this video. I just want to let you guys know that in the description box, I'm going to be leaving like a link to a support group. It's a Telegram support group. You want to check that group out. And if you're in the phase of applying, you know, they would share everything you need to be able to like navigate the entire process. Also, probably when it comes to flight booking, you can even, you know, tender some of your questions there, and 1 or 2 people will be able to answer to you and give you the information that you need. But then again, I'll be here to answer any questions that you have. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section, and I'll be more than willing to take your questions and answer them. So thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. I really do appreciate it, and I hope that every information that I shared on here has been helpful so far, and you were able to like take down a few points that will be beneficial to you in your process. And I can't wait for you to come back here and tell me that you got that admission, you got your visa, your interview went well, like all for that. Like I can't wait to celebrate with you. So I would see you guys in my next video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, share this video to somebody that you know would need it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys, and Merry Christmas in advance. Mwah.